long verse like this, you chant 3 words at a time. So I will just go to the word for words. Paradevata of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prasada by the mercy, Adhigata, obtained. It's not coming out in the picture. Is it okay? Picture, okay, now it's out. Atma pratyava marsena. By self-realization, anupravatebhyaha, who exactly follow his path, putrebhyaha, unto his sons, imam, this earth, yatha adyam, exactly according to the inheritance, vibhajya, dividing, bhokta bhogam, whom he enjoyed in so many ways, cha, also, mahesim, the queen, mritakam eva, exactly like a dead body, saha, with mahavibhutim, great opulence, apahaya, giving up, swayam, himself, nihita, perfectly taken to, nirvedaha, renunciation, hirdi, in the heart, grihita, accepted, hari, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, vihara, pastimes, anubhavaha, in such an attitude, bhagavataha, of the great saintly person, naradasya, of Saint Narada, padavim, position, punaha, again, eva, certainly, anusasara, began to follow. Translation, by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Maharaj Priyavata reawakened to his senses. He divided all his earthly possession among his obedient sons. He gave up everything, including his wife, with whom he had enjoyed so much sense gratification, and his great and opulent kingdom. And he completely renounced all attachment. His heart, having been cleansed, became a place of pastimes for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus he was able to return to the path of Krishna consciousness, spiritual life, and resume the position he had attained by the grace of the great saint Narada. Please respond. By the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Maharaj Priyavrata reawakened to his senses. He divided all his earthly possession among his obedient sons. He gave up everything, including his wife, with whom he had enjoyed so much sense gratification, and his great and opulent kingdom, and he completely renounced all attachment. His heart, having been cleansed, became a place of pastimes for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus he was able to return to the path of Krishna consciousness, spiritual life, and resume the position he had attained. He had attained by the grace of the great saint Narada. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. as enunciated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Shishakstaka, Seto Darpanam Marjanam, Bhava Mahagni Nirvapanam, Shreya, as soon as one's heart is cleansed, the blazing fire of material existence is immediately extinguished. Our hearts are meant for the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This means that one should be fully Krishna conscious, thinking of Krishna as he himself advises, Man mana bhava mad bhakta, mad yaji mam namaskro. This should be our only business. One whose heart is not clean cannot think of the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Lord. But if one can once again place the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his heart, he very easily becomes qualified to renounce material attachment. Mayavadi philosophers, yogis and jnanis try to give up this material world simply by saying Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya. This world is false, there is no use of it. Let us take to Brahman. Such theoretical knowledge will not help us if we believe that Brahman is the real truth. We have to place within our hearts the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, as Maharaj Ambarish did say, Savai Manoha Krishna Padara Vindayoho. One has to fix the lotus feet of the Lord within his heart. Then he gets the strength to be freed from material entanglement. Maharaj Priyavrata was able to give up his opulent kingdom, and he also gave up the association of his beautiful wife as if she were a dead body. Hello? See here a statement. However beautiful one's wife and however attractive her bodily features, one is no longer interested in her when her body is dead. We praise a beautiful woman for her body, but the same body, when bereft of her spirit soul, is no longer interesting to any lusty man. Maharaj Priyavrata was so strong by the grace of the Lord that even though his beautiful wife was alive, he could give up her association exactly like one who is forced to give up the association of a dead wife. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Na dhanam na janam na sundarim kavitam vajagadesh kamai mama janmane janmaneshwari bhavatat bhakti hai tukitve. O my Lord, O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your costless devotional service in my life, birth after birth. For one who desires to advance in spiritual life, attachment to material opulence and attachment to beautiful wife are two great impediments. You want me to repeat that? Huh? Advancement in spiritual life, attachment to material opulence and attachment to beautiful wife are two great impediments. Such attachment are condemned even more than suicide. Therefore, anyone desiring to cross beyond material nescience must, by the grace of Krishna, be free from attachment to women and money. When Maharaj Priyavrata became completely free from this attachment, he could again peacefully follow the principles instructed by the great sage Narada. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnanam Jnana Shalaka Chikshadan Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Satpitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamam Vidati Swaparandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sakajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Shadvitam Shavadutam Parajanam Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchna Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Ram Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are continuing reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, the life of Priyavrata Maharaj. You must understand that Priyavrata is a Mahabhagavata. A Mahabhagavata means a pure devotee of Krishna. Yeah. So see, yesterday's verse, we will read it again. Verse 38, is it? 37, is it? 37. Today is 38. Huh? You see this verse, yesterday, he gave the class, no? This is 37. Thus the king began criticizing himself, alas, how condemned I have become. Because of my sense gratification, I have now fallen into material enjoyment, which is exactly like a covered well. I have enough. I am not going to enjoy anymore. Just see how I have become like a dancing monkey in the hands of my wife. Because of this, I am condemned. So this is yesterday's point. So why we are discussing, because the same point was also with the Prasetas. You know, you can see here. Here. O Master, may we inform you that because of our being overly attached to family affairs, we almost forgot the instruction we received from Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu. See that? So you see this ashram, both Prasetas also were exalted personalities, you know. They are not anywhere less. And they also say the same thing, that because of excessive attachment to family affairs, we forgot. He says there, we almost forgot the instructions of. So Priyavrata is also saying the same thing. Because of my attachment to my family, I also forgot, you know. So you see how, although Priyavrata's wife is also a devotee, what's his name? Praseta's wife is also a devotee. They had 10 guys, 10 of them. They had only one wife, no? Yes? Of course, this will be very much talked about by the Western circle, because one woman with 10 men, I cannot comprehend that. Yeah? So you can see how the attachment, even though they are all in the devotee circle, but you see how they have become so much entangled that they forget instruction. The same point is also spoken by, what's his name? Yayati. You know, can you take out for me? Yayati, he was saying, he was giving the allegorical story of the goat, you know, 2 goats. Right? The last part he says, because of my excessive attachment, I forgot. Yes? I think it's 9 canto? 919? Who can you help me with that? 919 what? He will say in the last portion, no? Because of my excessive attachment. So the point we are trying to stress here is that sense gratification, either illicit or licit, it's all very dangerous. It will cloud your consciousness, as is explained here by 9:19. No, I think it's further down, no? He will say, further down he will say, I am also like this goat, You go further. 9:19:26, you see here. When Devayani heard Maharaj Ayati's story of the he-goat and the she-goat, she understood that this story, which was presented as if a funny joke for entertainment between husband and wife, was intended to awaken her to a constitutional position. But this is not the... Come on. Because King Yayati completely surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, he was free from all contamination of the material modes of nature. Because of his self-realization, he was able to fix his mind upon the transcendental Parabrahman Vasudeva, and thus he ultimately achieved the position of an associate of the Lord. This is exactly what, but one verse before, I think. Is it one verse before? Having enjoyed sense gratification for many, many years, O King Parikshit, Yayati was accustomed to it, but he gave it up entirely in a moment, just as a bird flies away from the nest as soon as its wings have grown. I think one more verse. One more verse. One who knows that material happiness, whether good or bad, in this life or the next, on this planet or in heavenly planet, is temporary and useless, and that an intelligent person should not try to enjoy or even think of such things, is the knower of the self. Such a self-realized person knows quite well that material happiness is the very cause of continued material existence and forgetfulness of one's own constitutional position. Exactly the same thing. So I have quoted examples of the Prasetas. I have quoted the example of Priyavarta today. I have quoted also now today, what's his name? King Yayati. See, all of them are involved in sense gratification, and they all have come to one point of understanding that it is. As another example, King Bharat Maharaj, he says that here is compared to dead body, the wife. There he compare everything to stool, passing stool. What is that verse? I showed the last time. It's also in CC 23. CC 23 also there. This was also the same point. You see how he gave up everything like one passing. 5:14. You see here. Oh, no, the end of the verse. Here. While in the prime of life, the great Maharaj Bharat gave up everything because he was so fond of serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Uttama Shloka. He gave up his beautiful wife, nice children and great families, great friends and enormous empire. Although these things were very difficult to give up, Maharaj Bharat was so exalted that he gave them up just as one gives up stool after evacuating. Such was the greatness of His Majesty. Again, another example. So you see how association with Maya is very, very risky. It is not. You understand? In fact, it is also explained by Lord Shiva. I think we quoted that verse. What is that? CC. Lord Shiva? Lord Shiva, CC, 7. Remember? In the purport, Lord Shiva associates Maya even for a distance. He also doesn't go near her. And he is a Mahabhagavata. You understand? See how Maya is very, very powerful. There's two things Prabhupada said in the purport, right? Material opulence and association with two things. What is that verse? You can see how Lord Shiva himself, even Lord Shiva is very careful, he is also cautious. Adi? 6:29.
6.79.
So you see here, this is also very important to take note. Rudra, who is an expansion of Sadashiva, who appears in unlimited universe, is also a Gunavatar, qualitative incarnation, and is the ornament of all demigods in the endless universes. There are 11 expansions of Rudra, Lord Shiva, and they are as follows: Ajya Kapat, Abhibradana, Virupakcha, Raivata, Hara, Bahurupa, Devashrestha, Trayambaka, Savitra, Jayanta, Pinaki, and Aparajita. Besides this expansion, there are 8 forms of Rudra called earth, water, fire, air, sky, the sun, the moon, and Somayaji. Generally, all these Rudras have 5 faces, 3 eyes, and 10 arms. Sometimes it is found that the Rudra is compared to Brahma and considered a living entity. But when Rudra is explained to be a partial expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is compared to Shesha. Lord Shiva is therefore simultaneously expansion of Lord Vishnu and in his capacity of annihilating the creation, one of the living entities. As an expansion of Lord Vishnu, he is called Hara and is transcendental to material qualities. But when he is in touch with Tamagun, he appears contaminated by the material modes of nature. See that point? This is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam and the Brahma Samhita. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, it states that Lord Rudra is always associated with material nature when she is in the neutral, unmanifested stage. See that? But when the modes of material nature are agitated, he associates with material nature from a distance. You have to find out this verse. In the Brahma Samhita, the relationship between Vishnu and Lord Shiva is compared to that between milk and yogurt and so on. But the point I am trying to make here, even Lord Shiva, he does not associate with Maya. You understand? Huh? So you see how, of course, we also have to be understanding this, that how, association with Maya is, sometimes we think that, oh, my wife is a devotee, it's no problem, my children are all devotees, everybody is first class, Here, Priyavarta, how can move first class than anybody else? He is what? His children all became Manus. Your children became Manu? Huh? Understand? You see how exalted he is. Still he is saying, my contamination with my wife. I mean, how exalted lady she is. Huh? So you see how renunciation is very, very important. Extremely important. But in Kali Yuga, this same point was also stressed by the Brahmin who Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited. You see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what is the verse? Yare Deka Tareka? 7? Yeah? So many saying.
7.128.
7.128, huh? So in this verse, so the householder, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed with, he also saying the same thing. You see here. The Brahmana begged Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my dear Lord, kindly show me favor and let me go with you. I can no longer tolerate the waves of misery caused by materialistic life. Is it this thing here? So you want to get out, Purport. This statement is applicable for everyone, regardless of how rich or prosperous one may be. Narottam Das Thakur has confirmed this statement. Samsara Vishanale Divanisi Hiyajvale. He states that the materialistic way of life causes a burning in the heart. One cannot make any provisions for the troublesome life of material world. It is a fact that one may be very happy as far as riches are concerned and one may be very opulent in every respect. Yet, one has to manage the Vishayas to meet the demands of the body and of so many family members and subordinates. one has to take so much trouble to minister to others. Narottam Das Thakur therefore prays, Vishaya Chadiya Khabe Sudha Habe Mana. Thus one must become free from the materialistic way of life. One has to merge himself in the ocean of transcendental bliss. In other words, one cannot relish transcendental bliss without being free from the materialistic way of life. It appears that the Brahmana named Kurma was materially very happy, for he expressed his family tradition as Janmakula Dana. Now being glorious, he wanted to leave all this material opulence. He wanted to travel with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. According to the Vedic way of civilization, one should leave his family after attaining 50 years of age and go to the forest of Vrindavan to devote the rest of his life to the service of the Lord. So this point the Brahmin was making, that just like Bharat Maharaj, he left like passing stool, Priyavarta, he left as his wife is a dead body, the Prasetas, they're crying, we almost forgot everything because of this association. So you see how Maya is so powerful. Maya is not lightweight. It creates, as we explained here, a burning sensation in the heart. Because sense gratification, initially it is nectar, in the end it is. And not only that, it has a tendency to make you what? Complacent. You forget. You see, I think he showed that verse also yesterday, you know. He showed this verse, you see here. Of course, there are many more. I will just show you this one. Just as aquatics always desire to remain in the vast mass of water, all conditioned living entities naturally desire to remain in the vast existence of Supreme Lord. Therefore, if someone very great by material calculation fails to take shelter of the Supreme Lord, but instead becomes attached to material household life, his greatness is like that of a young low-class couple who is too attached to material life, loses all good spiritual qualities. You see, one who is too attached, like the young low-class couple, one who is too attached to material life loses all good spiritual qualities. That's why it is so detrimental. You understand? You're not gaining. You're what? Losing. I never heard a word the husband and wife they gain. What? Gaining? Where? You understand? So I'm not saying that you go back and tell your wife you're a dead body, I'm leaving you or something. I'm saying this. Don't get me wrong. But you have to have the understanding that, you understand? Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never recommended that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never said you leave house and leave wife and leave all that. In fact, he says, you see here, we didn't finish. He says, it doesn't go back, is it? Something wrong with this thing. Go back. Okay, good. So here he says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instruction is this. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, don't speak like that again. You see that? Don't speak like that again, because you want to leave and go. Better to remain at home and chant the holy name of Krishna always. So this is the solution, because who can just give up like that? It's not possible. He said you better remain at home and chant the holy name of Krishna always. Of course. And it is not advisable in the age of Kali to leave one's family suddenly, for people are not trained as proper brahmacharis and grahasthas. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised the Brahmana not to be too eager to give up family life. It would be better to remain with his family and try to become purified by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra regularly under the direction of the spiritual master. This is the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If this principle is followed by everyone, there is no need to accept sannyas. In the next verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised everyone to become an ideal householder by offenselessly chanting the Hare Krishna mantra and teaching the same principle to everyone he meets. So this is a very important verse that is quoted many times. Yare deka tare kaha Krishna upades amara agyana guru hena tara e des. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered, instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Sri Krishna and as they are given in the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. So his mission, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission is that you don't just leave your house. You become what? A preacher. You try to teach people the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. Are you understanding? He didn't say that you give up and run away. No. You do this and try to liberate everyone in this land. So this is our whole idea. And then he, of course, you can read the purport of this. Then he says, this is very important this. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu further advised the Brahmana Kurma, if you follow this instruction, your materialistic life at home will not obstruct your spiritual advancement. Indeed, if you follow this regulative principle, we will again meet here, or rather you will never lose my company. This is a very important instruction. In other words, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wants every one of us to what? Preach Krishna consciousness. First chant. First he said, you please chant. If you chant all the time, then there is no problem of getting attacked by Maya. Then he says, if you preach, then you will have my association. In fact, we will meet again. In fact, you will not lose my company. You see that? So you see how relevant this is, preaching Krishna consciousness. It's so important, very important. That is actually how our movement grew. I remember early days, we all will be in one temple, and then we are following, and then some householders say, I'm going to this country, and they will go there, and they will start a temple there. Like this, Prabhupada had 108 temples, everywhere they go. I'm going here, going there, going everywhere. So every householder, what they do, their house, they kirtan and Sunday program, they give Prabhupada books and they come, they teach them. Like now, I think what Chaitanya and his wife are doing in Australia, correct? So now this Brody has met them and his life has changed now. Okay? So you see how it expands. Krishna consciousness growing. Yeah. I came back here in 1985 and then started again, and see now, how many of you? Yeah? Yes or no? So this is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to expand this movement. And no need to just give up your wife or your family or anything. You just stay and preach. That not difficult to do, correct? Difficult. What if you have not a cooperative wife? Then a problem. Then you have to renounce. But if you have a wife who is accommodating, then yeah, you can carry on doing this. See, another important point to note in these verses is that Priyavarta, he remembered again the instruction of Narada. So you see how relevant it is that their awakening, it's not that out of the blue he suddenly became Krishna. No. He had already previous contact with pure devotee. And again, he remembered, the Prasetas also, they again remembered all the instructions. So you see how relevant it is to have devotees association. Devotees association is so important. Of course, in the interim we may forget because of our family association, all that. But this knowledge is not something that is whimsically. This is in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna also said, in this verse, you see, and this verse, Ya gyantva na punar moham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutani asesyani drakshyadhyatmyato mahi. In this verse, having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion. For this knowledge, you will see that all living beings are but part of the Supreme, or in other words, they are mine. So this knowledge, although he forgot, but it is never what? Lost. Same thing with the Snahu Yayati, correct? He also said the same thing. I again remembered, see? So you see how important this is, just like Gajendra also. In his previous life he learned the mantra. And the body of an elephant, he chanted the mantra. Again, just like, what's his name? Bilvamangal Thakur. He was having relationship with the prostitute, correct? And then one stormy night he went to a house. She thought he will not come. He closed the door, she went to sleep. But he came, and when she opened the door, he was knocking, and after some time she opened the door. I said, who's this? Oh, you have come in this. If this kind of devotion you only had for Krishna, how big a devotee you will become? That work woke him up. You see that? Because that again rekindled his previous spiritual what? Connections, knowledge. So therefore, association of devotees is crucial. It is very, very important. Because without association of devotees, the living entity cannot awaken up his Krishna consciousness. It is not possible. It is not. See, that's why when you contact a devotee, although you may disappear, you may not be around, something happened, you are faded away, but this transcendental knowledge will always be what? In the heart. And one day, that awakening. One day that, just like us, I don't know what we did, and suddenly, wow, I'm more serious. We become serious because of that purification. That's why association of devotees is the most valuable thing that the living entity can get. And if you 1/11th of a second you can associate with devotees, your whole life is successful. Yeah. That's why somehow or other you may think that it is devotees are ordinary and I just go. But you don't know. You don't know the association. It's so powerful. And that is the key. Like Priyavarta, he again remembered all the instruction of Narada. Prasetas again remembered all the instruction of Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu. Yes. And what is his name? Yayati again. So therefore, taking consideration of this, we should take association of devotees as the prime principle in furthering our devotion. Because by associating with devotees, one will then what? Develop that detachment. Develop that. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he does one verse, no? What is that? Vairagya Vidya, Nija Bhakti Yoga, right? This verse. Vairagya Vidya, Nija Bhakti Yoga, Siksartha, thing. Sariradhari, something like that. This verse, very nice verse composed by uh, Sarvamama Bhattacharya. There are 2 verses actually. So, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is Vairagya and Vidya. He is not just Vairagya. Like the dry Mayavadis, they are into severe austerities. You know, they do tapasya sitting on the mountain. I saw one video, one guy was naked, he was in the Himalayas. There's snow everywhere, he was sitting inside. You know? What's the idea of this? That is severe austerities. And summertime they have sit around the fire, all around fire, and put fire on the head also. They do severe tapasya. But this is not, what is that? Vairagya, Vidya, Nija Bhakti Yoga. This Vairagya and Vidya has to be coupled with what? Devotional service. That means your renunciation, not like the Mayavad, it has to be renunciation with attachment for Krishna. It's not that you just renounce and you just hang around. No. You renounce with the attachment of Krishna in devotional service. That's what is the most important. And that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to teach how to renounce and be attached to Krishna in devotional service. That's why he took sannyas. When taking sannyas in Kali Yuga is forbidden. Sannyas is forbidden in Kali Yuga. Why you have to take? But he took, but to teach how to become detached. Yeah? So therefore we have to understand this, that our whole life should be how to get connected back to Krishna. Because of sense gratification, these things get hampered. Because the moment we have lust in the heart, then Krishna will not be sitting inside. You know? You have kama, then the heart is contaminated. This is explained here. This is 51 or what? So here, my Lord, you are the supreme well-wishing friend of everyone, the dearmost friend, the controller, the super soul, the supreme instructor, and the giver of supreme knowledge, and the fulfillment of all desires. But although you are within the heart, the foolish, because of lusty desires in the heart, cannot understand you. Is there this point here? In other words, lust is the obstacle in getting the Lord to exhibit Himself to us. That's why it says in another verse, Kamam Hrit Rogam. Lust is the disease of the heart. You understand? Lust is the disease of the heart. So the disease, this disease can only be cleared if we again invite Krishna back inside. You understand? If only Krishna come back, then this, that's why the famous verse now we chant, Sinvata Svakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanam Hridya Andasto Abhadrani Shruhat Satam. The dirty things in the heart. What is that? 2:1 what? You see here, this is very important verse, you see. So this has to be understood, you see, how the Lord, 2:1:17? 1:2:17. So see here, this is very important. Yes. Sanvata Swakata Krishna. This is another important word here. Punya Shravana Kirtan. The word punya is added here. You know. Punya means what? Huh? Fire. Very auspicious. You know. Because any name you can chant, you know, but it's not punya. Why Krishna's name is punya? Huh? What? Because this Krishna's name, it is so powerful that it Hridaya Antasto. What is dirty thing in the heart? Anta means what? Abhudrani means all the dirty things in the heart, right? You get clean. Vidunoti means this Vidunoti word means to clean. You get cleaned out. Just by chanting Krishna's name. So this lust, the lust can only be wiped out if we bring Krishna into the... And to bring Krishna, we need the help of a pure devotee. Otherwise it's not possible. You cannot just today, okay, Prabhu, you told me I'm going to bring Krishna into my heart. It's not going to work. You can only bring Krishna into your heart if you go to someone who has Krishna in the heart. You understand? That's why initiation is very important. Because unless you get connected, what is that verse? In 10.3, I think. 10.3. What's his name? Vasudeva, he initiated Devaki. Correct? So, because Krishna was in his heart, right? And from his heart, Krishna went to the heart of Devaki. And Prabhupada writes, this is how you become Krishna conscious. So you have to go to somebody who is carrying Krishna. That's why we are worshipping all the devotees who are pure devotees, because they are having Krishna in the heart. So when you go to them, they are able to give Krishna to you. So when you get Krishna, then all these dirty things, see the verse here? Prabhupada translates. Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the Paramatma Super Soul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotees. In other words, Krishna is the well-wishing friend, Sruhit Sarva Bhutanam, the best friend of anybody. See? And cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So when we get this mantra from the spiritual master, then the effect is so powerful. By chanting this, by the mercy of the spiritual master, then this dirty thing in the heart, the lust, anger, greed, this, that, can be cleaned up. Then again you bring Krishna back, and when Krishna is sitting in your heart, then that's it. You have no more problem. Like Haridas Thakur, Maya came in the dead of the night. Yeah? And she could not shake him. In fact, he made her a devotee. Right? He made Maya chant. Hey, how powerful. First day she heard. Second day she followed him. Hare Krishna, Hare, mentally. Third day she chanted Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Of course you can try, I don't know. With Maya. So you see how powerful the chanting of a pure devotee. It can drive away the lust in the heart. Okay? That's why devotee association is so important. Okay? The verse we quoted, no? What is that? You must hear from the spiritual master. What? 4:24:32, is it? So this is spoken by, the purported by Prabhupada. Out of his causeless mercy, the exalted personality Lord Shiva, a great devotee of Lord Narayan, continued to speak to the king's son who was standing with folded hands. Lord Shiva voluntarily came to bless the sons of king as well as to do something beneficial for them. He personally chanted the mantra so that the mantra would be more powerful, and he advised that the mantra be chanted by the king's son, Rajaputra. When a mantra is chanted by a great devotee, the mantra becomes more powerful. Although the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is powerful in itself, a disciple upon initiation receives the mantra from his spiritual master. For when the mantra is chanted by the spiritual master, it becomes more powerful. Lord Shiva advised the sons of the king to hear him attentively, for inattentive hearing is offensive. So this is why the process is so powerful. By hearing from a pure devotee, our heart becomes free from this biggest enemy, as Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says. What is the enemy? Kama esa, krodha esa, rajaguna, samudbha, mahasano, mahapapa, vidhiyenam, vairina. This is the vairina. Vairina means what? Enemy. You understand? So we have to know, we have to understand this. Then we know why we are here, we know why we are chanting, we know why we are associating. We have to understand this, It's not that just coming here, that just see Krishna and then go home no. That's a purpose for everything here. And that the purpose is to get back Krishna in the heart. You understand? That is our whole objective. And Krishna himself said, I will not sit in the heart if you keep all these crazy things. What? I want Maya also, Prabhu. I want Krishna also, I want Maya also. Possible? No possible. Either it is Maya or Krishna. You understand? Krishna also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also told Amoga, why are you keeping all these dirty things in the heart? The heart is the place. This heart is the place for the Lord to sit down. Why are you doing all these things? Remember? Amoga? Yeah? Why are you keeping all this? So we should understand the purpose of chanting and everything is to purify ourselves. And if we are not getting purified, then we should cry. What is that verse? Kama adinam kati katita palita nurnidesa. This kama is not something that you will not, Prabhu, I have a little lust. Nonsense. This lust will be disturbing our consciousness. You can see in this verse. What is that verse? Kama adinam.
22:16.
22:16. You see here? This verse here. Very important verse. Kamadinam katina katita palita durnidesha tesham jatamayena karuna na trapa na upashanti. See the word? Shanti means peace. Na upashanti, no peace. Utsrijatam, this line is most important. Utsritam yata yadupate sampratam labda buddhis tvam ayataha sharanam abhayam mam nikunja seva atmadasye. This whole verse is so important. This is from Nectar of Devotion. Oh my Lord, there is no limit to the unwanted orders of lusty desires. There is no limit. Although I have rendered these desires so much service, they have not shown any mercy to me. This is how lust is. I have not been ashamed to serve them. Nor have I even desired to give them up. No, you see this? This is the exact description of lust. Yeah? But, this is one important point. Oh my Lord, O head of the Yadu dynasty, recently, however, my intelligence has been awakened. And now, I am giving them up. Due to transcendental intelligence, I now refuse to obey the unwanted orders of this desire. And I have now come to you to surrender myself at your fearless lotus feet. Kindly engage me in your personal service and save me. See? This very relevant verse for today's subject. Yeah, how important it is. You see how lust has tormented I, you see how? I did so many things. There's no limit to my service to them. Unwanted orders of lust. Although I have rendered this desire so much service, they have not shown any mercy to me. That is what lust is all about. You have seen lust. Because of lust, the guy kill each other, kill the wife, kill so many things he does. Correct? Is it not? Huh? And they have not shown mercy, any mercy to me. I have not been even ashamed to serve them also. Huh? No, I have desired to give them up also, you see. But when again my intelligence got awakened, then yes, I have given this up. That means unless the person come back in contact with Krishna, there's no question of him getting any relief. Getting any what? Yeah, this is say here in this verse. I mean, before I go, I'm sorry I'm holding you up. And this is the verse. Let me see. Oh my dear friends, O sons of the demon, it is certain that no one bereft of knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead has been able to liberate himself from material bondage at any time or in any country. You understand this? Huh? Anyone who is not coming to this point of surrendering to Krishna, then there is no question of him getting what? Out of his mind, any place, any country, any time. Forget it. Don't think I'm just trying to, pass my time here. I'm giving this important information that you have to take it up seriously to chant Hare Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, if you chant, then very quickly, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim kavita. I don't want anything. What I want to be a devotee, lifetime after life. So our biggest enemy is lust, and lust you can only give up by awakening our Krishna consciousness. Then detachment will come, then the Lord will also come, everybody will come. If you give up, this is the point. That's why Priyavarta again, he woke up. Oh, and he considered his wife as a dead body, because although she's there, alive, he has spent so much time with her. He cannot. You understand? So, of course, we are not telling you to discard. We are telling you to follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's example of preaching Krishna consciousness and engaging everybody in that service. Then you are then also the same, you will become renowned as well. Alright, sorry I took so much of your time. Any questions on this point? Somebody is asking questions? No questions? Huh? They usually don't ask questions. Pretty serious subject. No? Huh? Okay, good. So thank you very much. Sorry that I stretched it a bit longer, but I